Yeah, this is just a video response to Ring of Honor, Why I Love It by Truth Slayer. Um, my story's sort of the same as yours. See, I was a big wrestling fan, for a long time, and I knew about and everyone knew about WWF, WCW, and I'm talking about this is late '90s by then, and I think it would have been '99. I can remember, or maybe '98. I can't remember. I can remember hearing about ECW. Now, I'd never been on the internet, but I still heard of it, and I can't remember from where. I think it might have been a friend or something. Anyway, I started watching, whatever I could of that, just from tapes and that, but I never really got to see a lot of it. And I liked it, and I can remember reading magazines about it, like Power Slam, stuff like that. Um, Come 2001, I can remember flicking through a magazine, reading about ECW going out of business, and remember WCW going out of business, and this would have been about I didn't come on the internet till 2005, but so I just had to, anything I knew about wrestling I had to read in magazines, and pretty much just assume for myself, and I didn't have a lot of friends who liked wrestling, but even then I was still, I unlike marks, who care about the outcome. Oh, I don't like saying marks, but casual fans who like to see the outcome and don't really care about seeing a good match. They just care about, as I said, an outcome and the story, and then I was more interested in just seeing the match. Um, I think, and from what I'd seen from ECW, I'd really liked that. And come 2005, my interest in wrestling was really lagging, and I came on to just because I didn't really know that there was much of an internet wrestling community, but I came on and found some places, and I talked about, by the time I came on, there were a couple of people talking about Ring of Honor, CZW, and TNA, and maybe some other ones. But TNA I already knew about because I'd seen it on TV, but living in Australia, you don't really see much of it, so I didn't really see much of it. So, and they took it off TV before 2005, and that was actually another one of the reasons why I went on the internet. But I can remember reading someone, on message boards or something, someone talking about Japanese wrestling, and I'd seen WWE's DVDs and documentaries talking about Japan, and I, before I actually really got into Ring of Honor and the independent scene in the United States, I actually got more interested in Old Japan Pro Wrestling, and it was actually, and then from Old Japan Pro Wrestling I got interested in Noah, and it was from my interest in Japanese wrestling that I became interested in Ring of Honor. Now, I actually have to agree with you about nobody talking about Ring of Honor on the internet. Now, as I said, some people were talking about Ring of Honor, and a couple of people were talking about CZW, and people were talking about TNA, but really, there wasn't a lot of people talking about, even after ECW had gone out of business, and I might have come on around just before the rise and fall of ECW, and I can remember hearing about it, and I came on, and people were talking a lot about ECW, and I thought, well, why are you talking about something that it's not there anymore, and not talking about Ring, because there had been people like smarter wrestling fans who were obviously smarter because they said similar things, that why are you talking about ECW? I mean, I'm glad, and I was glad they were releasing an ECW DVD, because I really wanted to see more of it, because I'd never seen enough of it because I was too young. But even after it came out, everyone was just going nuts over ECW, talking about it like it was still around, and or stuff like that, and nobody was talking about Ring of Honor, and more people were talking about TNA, but as I said, I'd seen that, and so eventually I looked around on the internet and actually found places where I could watch some Ring of Honor and watch CCW, and this was after I'd watched some Noah, and I think it was Joe versus Kobashi. That was what I was interested in seeing, because Kobashi was my favorite professional wrestler from Old Japan, Noah, etc. Well, there's just those two really, and so. I watched this Ring of Honor match, and I thought, well, that was pretty good. It was a bit of I can remember thinking, damn, those were some stiff chops and suplexes and shit. So And then I just started watching more and more Ring of Honor, and it developed from there. And that's how I actually got into Ring of Honor. So, truthfully, or you truthfully, I said, you got into ECW, and then you got into Japan. I actually got into to Japan, and then into the independent scene in the United States. um, but yeah, it's I think it's really actually interesting that people talked so much about ECW, but but now aren't talking about Ring of Honor. And see, I was never around, when you were around, so I don't know how much. But assuming you're right about no one talking about Ring of Honor, I think it's really disappointing, because just looking back at some old ECW stuff, and seeing what I can of it, and just seeing what I can of Ring of Honor, I think I prefer Ring of Honor, but that's just me. But yeah, it's really weird, because I it's Ring of Honor is, in just my opinion, a better promotion. I like it more. Anyway, I think I'm not running out of time. And I can remember when I checked out CW, that was I'd seen a bit of ECW by then, and I mean, I liked the proper matches. I never really liked hardcore wrestling. Anyway, I'm